One. Hello, everybody. Aether Salora here with a wonderful cosplayer, Hawk, as in the world he wants to be known as.
That is me.
He does quite a bit of work on podcasts, other cosplays. I've seen he's got a slew of pictures here he wants to show off, and I'm like, let's do it, my dude. So,
let's do this.
I want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, how you got into cosplay, how long ago was it, you know.
Ironically, I'm an old school nerd. So in my upbringing, I grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
Being a black nerd in Chicago meant you didn't do cosplay. You didn't go to conventions. You didn't tell nobody nothing. You just kept it under wraps. Once I moved to Springfield and got with my nerd community, oh man, I blossomed and flourished.
It's huge in Springfield. I mean, I go down there once in a great while for Digimon tournaments, but I'm holding off right now at 217 Comics and Games. Awesome store, honestly, to go to. There's some people like, I won't go there. I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to still go.
Yeah. So for me, it's actually Springfield, Missouri.
Ah, okay. Springfield, Illinois.
For us, it would be Metagames and Haven Games.
I have heard of them, actually. I've gone down there for Glassblowing exhibition by, taking people down there. It was more borderline ghetto area, but it was the art exhibition that isn't too far away with Margarita. Glass is about yay big.
Yeah. But I saw all of these amazing cosplayers, and I was like, I gotta do this. And then I went so far as, because there's a lot of argument about what people can and can't cosplay, what they should and shouldn't cosplay.
And anybody can cosplay with whatever, whoever I stand by cosplays for everyone of all shapes, size, race, ethnicity. It does not matter. Do the character you want because it makes you happy. Exactly. You are that character. And if they have to, if you get the toxic people that say like, no, you can't do that because that's no. There's always a variant version, and you know what? The What If Marvel stuff is promoting. No, there is more of this, and in the comic books, no, there is so many versions of something. Even manga's doing a lot better now on that, which is thank you.
For me, it was a lot. It made a lot more sense. Like you can see 1,000 Hal Jordan Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
But you never seen,
the John Stewart or
John Stewart, that was literally one of the best parts of the Justice League. So I went out and found a John Stewart Green Lantern costume, and I was like, then my Nick Fury is, I've traveled the world as Nick Fury. I was invited to China. I was invited to several different cons all over the United States, just because Nick Fury is a badass.
Dude, Nick Fury is just, it is. Okay, I will go ahead and break a little bit of PG here. Nick Fury is such a badass character in the comic book industry. Hands down, as a normal human, to the point he is like superhuman, unnatural. What in the heck, man? With his intelligence, it's scary. Don't mess with Nick Fury, because he'll find a way to mess with you in the worst case scenario that you could be on the toilet and you won't see it coming.
Right.
Your house is
decked
out.
My only problem with that costume, it took me years to get used to the eye patch.
I believe it.
But the pros of that con, and any cosplayer will tell you, I got pockets in my Nick Fury.
Pockets!
Large amounts of pockets, because I actually use the military EMT pads.
Ooh.
And I actually have my trench coat, so I got pockets on pockets.
No, at that point, they're not pockets, good sir. In D&D logic, you have bag of holding.
Exactly. Exactly. And actually, so what's funny is I played Nick. I think I did Nick solid every convention for like 4 years.
Ooh.
For no other reason than I was in a group of people with a lot of girls, and then nobody had pockets.
Here, I got you. You want to look at my wares?
I got you.
Yo, no joke. Another like rivaled pocket type of cosplayer would be from the Resident Evil 4 series. Would you like a look at my wares?
Yeah. I worked on a Rorschach costume for 3 months, because I knew that once I got the trench coat on and the pants on, I'd have pockets. But Rorschach is crazy.
He is, actually.
It wasn't my thing. I just couldn't do Rorschach. It was just, I have I just started getting into villains just this year. So I did an A-Train. I just got an A-Train out there that I just did, and Black Mask.
Ooh.
Black Mask. I just did this.
Dude, that's dope. And it's so shiny too.
Yeah, this is 3D printed.
Ooh, so was it resin or are we going with regular fundamental 3D printing? Because that looks
regular
resin.
Fundamental 3D printing with 100% infill.
Ooh.
And honestly, it was because it's an easy cosplay and he has pockets.
Have you thought about doing red mask?
So, I haven't. This is actually the only non-minority cosplay I've ever done because I was testing a theory that I could make this mask.
Right, and you could
Only
go...
one. All the rest of my cosplays are actual characters like Jon Stewart's Green Lantern.
Yeah.
A-Train, Falcon, Black Panther, Nick Fury. My current favorite...
from Empire.
Well, Lando Calrissian from Empire. But also, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan.
Yes.
And there were no black people on Game of Thrones for the longest amount of time.
Honestly, yeah. I don't watch it, and I know that.
Until they introduced the Unsullied.
Which is
and
dope.
So me and my foam creators got together, and we made this.
That's honestly extremely dope.
I've traveled the world with this. I've won at least 6 cosplay contests with this.
My God.
That was my first attempt with foam. First and last attempt with foam, because I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
I'm a cosplayer. I'm not an artist.
I'm more of the modeler.
Right. Well, no, I make stuff. Like I said, I've made Harley Quinn. I made
Hammer?
Gotham City Sirens costumes. I redesigned Gotham City Sirens costumes, and I think I've sent you some of those pictures. I made those. That was my reinvention of costumes. Is some of the best and most fun things of doing it.
Yeah.
I'm currently working on a Harley Quinn and a Punchline. Because I've never actually seen cosplayers put those two together.
Being that I don't see much Punchline, that's going to be actually really cool to see.
Right, and the two ladies I'm redesigning them for are sisters.
Oh.
So that's going to be probably my favorite photo shoot of all time.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you for any of the reasons of what somebody thinks. It's like, no, guys, we're actually talking legit. Like, we would really enjoy going and doing these, photo shoots, cosplays, all that stuff.
The Punchline, I was going to get her a wig, and she said, well, can't I just dye my hair?
By all means, go for it.
I'm not going to stop you.
The only thing is, do you want to keep that hair, or do you just want to be able to take it off?
She would. She definitely would.
And see, that was something, out of all things we never thought we'd see.
Yeah.
In any Batman. With Joker getting a new girlfriend, and I think that was due to more of okay, so Harley is now with Poison Ivy, and we need Joker to still have somebody, and we're going to bring somebody who's even more psychotic.
Yes, Punchline's crazy.
Oh,
she is, and what I like about Punchline is, I was never a fan of what they did with Harley. I don't get it.
Animated series, or are we going up to Suicide Squad, or something in between?
Talking period. Just anything. Once they got past the original Harley Quinn from the animated series, everything they've done to Harley since then has been good. They can't do that with Punchline, really, without rewriting her entire character.
And she just only recently came out, wasn't it last year?
Yeah, it was just last year.
And then she's got her one shot, besides being in the comic book, which isn't much, but I need to get back into actually reading a little bit more comic books, but you gotta pull me in. I know there's the Darkest Ages of the Batman, which, dude, questionable Bruce Wayne doing things. It's just,
that's literally, that leads itself to having Punchline around.
Yeah. But
I sense a huge amount of loyalty in Punchline. She's never going to betray Joker. She's never going to leave Joker. And I like that. She
reminds me of one other character, and it's not from a comic book series. She is now, but it was the red Sith chick that was all red, had the black. She licked the lightsaber against Maul, and at the same point, her type of race, as to her like special skin tone, are known to be the most loyal, even after death of their master or whoever they served,
right,
till the day they die. Like that is like the loyalty we see in Punchline.
Yeah,
and that's scary.
That's what I'm hoping they're doing with that particular character.
What if you fused?
That's what I'm hoping.
What if they fused both Punchline and her? That's with the Force included.
I think I love kind of stuff like that. I think to some point, but the one drawback for Punchline is she's more psychotic. She's sociopathic. She's not psychotic, and there's a huge difference in that.
And some people don't know who it is as well. Punchline is not a mute.
Joker's current girlfriend.
Yes, and a lot of people know, but Punchline doesn't say much.
No, she's a throat slicer. She's not a talker.
She is a clown ninja. She is the porcelain doll of scary Annabelles.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Exactly right. She is a clown ninja. And it's gonna be fun putting that costume together. It's gonna be fun seeing that costume out in public. And
we're seeing more.
I have intentions that at one of the conventions this year, it's going to be me as Black Mask, one girl as Harley, and one girl as Punchline.
And then some people may not know what Black Mask is, but Black Mask is also from the DC universe.
Black Mask is a villain from the DC universe. He was also the villain of Birds of Prey.
Yes, and the Birds of Prey, there's so many, if we go back to the 80s, 90s movies and stuff, right. Even Doctor Strange, a lot of people think, we've only had one Doctor Strange movie. I'm like, no. There's
we've had several.
We've had several.
We've had a few.
And then
we just got the good one in the recent years.
Oh, honestly, best one of them all. And
yeah.
His name, if I remember correctly, it's Ben Affleck. No. What's Doctor Strange's actual actor name?
Benedict Cumberbatch is his name.
Yes.
The movie that you're referring to, in the middle of production, they lost the rights to it, so they rewrote it with all original characters. So it was Dr. Morbid. What was the character's name? Wasn't the greatest of movies.
It's always those.
Then again, not everything in the 80s was great. So.
Pretty much in the 80s is what we'd actually say. If you had some drugs, everything was good.
Right.
Not to say promote that, but it's just hey, there's now 40 years ago type situation ago. And I'm 30. I only recently turned 30, so I've been exposed to the 80s, even though I'm a young 90s kid. There was a lot of good 80s stuff back then. Straight up, won't lie about it. Even Transformers, dude, that was probably one of the most violent Transformers series. Where then the more up-to-date Netflix, no, they straight up we're gonna rip you apart. We're not even gonna talk about the live action, even though it's still good in its own ways, but it's straight up
some of them are still good in their own ways. Some of them are terrible.
Absolutely.
Some of them are just terrible. Let's be realistic.
But
there was one. My son was 12 when they did the second to the last one, and my son walked out there. Like I said, he was 12, 13, and he goes, "I feel like I just watched a 2-hour commercial." This is a 12-year-old making the most profound statement about a movie I've ever heard.
Yo, and then on top of that,
what's sad is that when you watch it the second and third time, it's not as bad,
right,
as the first time was in the theater that you paid all of the money for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still bad. You still see all the same things, but it's not half as bad as it was the first time.
Right. No, honestly, it's just okay, I got to tolerate this now. Oh, okay, it's a little bit better. Yeah. And then we are looking more into where they came from and seeing the documentary more of behind the scenes with the DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, 8K, whatever K you want to call it. up my head, Kay.
Yeah.
Well, you'll actually see why they based off these characters. Did they actually go historically based off the comics? Are we going based off of shows? Are we going based off the real original, as what some people say, like Transformers came from Japan? And I'm like, in a way, yes.
Yes.
Which is a yes, like Voltron did, but America wanted to capitalize and buy all rights and say, this is our stuff. And I'm like, no, it isn't.
Exactly.
No. And honestly...
Exactly.
And even, like, America destroyed Voltron, too. But let's get back on track from all of that.
I actually didn't hate the last series.
No, it was good.
Didn't hate the last series. I didn't, of course, like the was it the third season?
Man, what, 5 or 6?
Well, I like to call Voltron 2 with the cars.
No, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
GoBots on acid.
Oh, my God. Now, if you were to mix that up with Flint the Time Detective, oh my God, we're gonna have a good time. Some people don't even know what that is. I was like, that was another '90s like cartoon with like
That was like the third season of Robotech.
Robotech's good.
Which they should have stopped after, all of the Macross series and just not do that last season that they released here in the States. Should never released it. It was bad. But that sort of thing was popular and everything else, so why not put it in an anime and see if it's popular? No.
It was this. It was purely this.
Yeah, David Carradine as the wandering kung fu master does not work when you're doing Robotech. Sorry.
The only time that you're going to see something as, like, that's going to be good for anything is going to come down to more of as joke items on the shelf as, like, here, we're going to put this on underwear.
Yeah.
Like straight.
What's funny is they didn't market Robotech hardly at all.
It was books. You had model kits maybe here or there, and that was rare. That's as much.
It wasn't here in the States that much. It was marketed overseas, but it wasn't never marketed here at all.
Right.
And they would have made a killing if they had marketed it more when they originally released the first season of Robotech here.
It would have been as, like, going hand in hand as saying, like, Transformers, Gundam, Zoids, yes. Robotech. All of that was, like, the top 4 of, like, the card games, like, baseball trading card games. And then we get into battling, it'd be Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And then, Digimon tried, but Digimon's back with a new card game, of course. And it does very well, but I'm just like, oh, let's just see how things go.
Well, what's funny is they did market and release... Voltron stuff, not a lot.
Yeah,
that's just Alliance for the most part. They didn't do anything else. They could have done more. They didn't market the second variation at all that I know of.
I don't know of anything from the second variation.
But they did market they marketed the very first variation. They didn't market when they changed the lions out or none of that. They just marketed. There was a lot of things they did not market that they could have.
They were more focused on G.I. Joe, He-Man, She-Ra. We're going to be going in Cabbage Patch Kids, Garbage Pail Kids. We're going to be going into other things that, like, Gundams were kind of an iffy thing, but they would have stuck with Voltron. Then you got Power Rangers.
The Turtles at the time. They did the Turtles, but they didn't do Voltron.
Nope. If they did, it was very rare. And, like, the combinable, like, this is all we're going to bring out. And then you had Rainbow Bright. You had Etch-a-Sketches. You had all this stuff coming all at once where we're leading up into the 90s where you also had Jim and the Holograms. Like, I know some of my stuff here.
So, what's funny is Jim and the Holograms was greatly marketed until they did the movie.
The new one, the live-action one, was garbage.
The live action.
No,
and I talked to the original Jen at a convention here in town.
Same.
And she freely admitted, it was a hot mess, and I apologize, but I didn't make it. I didn't do it.
Right.
It was my idea.
Right. No, like, I'm glad they stopped. Like, they completely.
Well, did they stop, or did they get asked to stop? There's a difference.
Both.
Because you can keep going unless people go stop paying you. So if people stop paying you, then you didn't just stop. You got to ask to stop.
Absolutely.
If you lose all your fan base because you screwed up something, that's not really stopping somebody.
How much you paying me to stop? Because other than that, I'm going to keep going until it's dry. I'm like, don't you dare.
Because they, as long as they had fans, they would have kept going. But that movie destroyed their entire fan base, which happens in our world. You do something bad and you will lose everything.
And that's where it'll bring up topics as well, such as, like, what was the old version like? And then the old version picks up revenue. It picks up things to actually say, hey, this is the Fantastic Four garbage variant.
Yep.
Versus the original, which was good.
Last Airbender.
No. He needs to stop touching stuff.
No, because that movie was so bad, they couldn't progress or make any money off of the greatness of that particular anime.
But
everything died
now,
in relation to that.
You know what I'm excited about? Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's always, which Avatar are you talking about? A live action? Are we talking about Blue Aliens? That's Pocahontas? Or are we talking about the garbage?
Right. Well, I'm talking about Airbender.
Yeah, no, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Even their parody version in the original Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they had him on stage, did a better job of the Netflix adaptation garbage, which was hilarious, than the actual Netflix adaptation type thing. Where now, though, I'm actually glad to see there's some people that say Korra that was good. Like, overall, good. And then some people don't know. There's comics that continue, like, actually after that. There's so much more that they could have animated it, but Nickelodeon's like, it's too much money for us to animate like Danny Phantom. I'm like, go, don't you? Ooh. But that's now
you add that to the streaming services, and so many people are losing so much money right now because no one wants to make good decisions.
Right.
I was talking on my show just last week. One of the funniest dumb decisions ever made was Young Justice.
I'm so glad they brought more of that back. It was
you know why they canceled, right?
It was that from what I was told, did a little research. It was based off of the toy sales.
Nope.
No, what was the actual reason?
Because they had some of the highest ratings for an animated series ever done. But the viewers were all females.
Yeah, that's why you saw a lot of...
That is not what they were marketing for. And they did not think they could make any money off of the toys.
That was at the same time with the Green Lantern series that came out too. Fantastic series. They were going based off the toys. I was so mad when I heard that.
And other than this last season, Phantoms is the only season they've made that I haven't liked. I'm not a fan of Phantoms. I'm gonna watch. I'm never gonna stop watching it because you
got to find out what happens.
Right. I'm not a fan of Phantoms. I'm loving the introduction of all of these characters though. That I am.
And Rare, do you hear all these... The amount of times all these comic book characters, how much do they get a debut? Oh, here's a 5-second clip that they put them in. I'm like, you could have done that person a little bit better. Come on, we ain't ditto.
Young Justice is doing them great. They've introduced characters that I don't know, and that's awesome.
It would have been more characters that you would have seen.
I'm not a fan of the entire last season, like not just one episode. The entire seasons that we've had that we're in right now, hate it.
Oof.
Hate every part of it. Every part of it.
And then on top of that, with the same guy who worked on Young Justice, the artist, who's also worked with the Critical Role, they just finished season 1, and I'm so excited for the season 2 coming out soon.
I am very excited for that.
I'm
very, very excited for that.
And it's a good message for the people. I've actually am in season 1, campaign 1 still. Up to the, dragons of, what's happening. You know, they're about to face the last 2 right now, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, I know about the whole Tiberius thing, but at the same time, he's been retconned completely from the series.
Yes. And
then on top of that, they said that the show itself is for new and old fans to be able to come and see this, because
that is you almost can't do that.
And it's just first episode.
And if you do it, it's gonna be a hot mess. It can't be done.
It was a hot mess with the first 20 seconds of what Scanlan was doing with the barmaid's or bar father's daughter, but let's not go into that information. But that was
here's how you remake a project, reinvent a project, restart a project, and appease both old and new fans. You do Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yes.
That's how you make new people happy and old people happy at the same time.
True. And that's where they can continue it off. You have to have the original people to actually come finish whatever work they had. And it threw me off when... It's I don't want to spoil because it is a pretty good, spoil as to who comes back, but as the actor passed
well, no,
away.
it's not spoil. Everybody knew before going into it.
Okay, making sure.
The social media, they were all, everybody. There was no surprises with Afterlife.
No,
none. Other than the sheriff of the town, that was a shock. I was in the theater like, what in the world am I looking at?
That was like, do I laugh? What? Do I cry? What?
How did they hire him to do this? It made like of all the weirdest minority hires I've ever seen in my life, that made zero sense. And I hope that he comes back for all of his other subsequent films. I hope they make his role bigger. I hope they explain how this man is a sheriff.
Yes, I do agree, but it's just to that point, like, what?
Yeah, the minute he came out, I was confused. Every time he was on screen, I was in the theater like, why am I watching this? The rest of the movie was great. He's got some great scenes in it with Michaela. There's one great scene with Michaela that I feel like was the most intense scene for a movie, because I still consider Ghostbusters, that particular movie, like almost a kid's movie in a way. But the scene in the theater when she picks up the proton pack,
that was
us adults know that this 12-year-old child is getting ready to kill somebody.
Yeah, no, straight up, I was just like,
yeah, she is getting ready to murder somebody. Murder. And it was an intense scene. She acted it so well. To the point to where the hairs on my arm stood up, because I'm like
reality check, like
take a turn. And I bring this up because I'm a member of Ghostbusters of the Ozark. I am a Ghostbuster. We do all sorts of charity events.
Yes.
Dressing up as a Ghostbuster, doing parades, doing events, getting to do. So obviously, when Afterlife came out, we were everywhere. We worked harder in that 2 weeks than we had in the last 10 years.
All the group here in Peoria, the dude lives a little bit more south, more towards like Springfield area. Dude, I know when his vehicle is out and about. They got two Ghostbuster cars. They got one pretty much exactly to it. Got to actually talk with him since from Peoria Con of last year, whenever it was, to when it was the Ghostbuster release. I was like, hey, how you been? I haven't seen you God, who knows? Like since Peoria.
This release was amazing for us, and I do 3 parades a year as a Ghostbuster, and I just as a Ghostbuster, not as anybody, because I'm a member of several different cosplay teams. But the Ghostbusters, we now get to talk about something other than the stuff from the 80s and 90s. We get to talk about stuff now. We get to talk about the new movie. We can talk about what's coming forward. We can talk about what they're marketing. We can talk about the changes they've made. And it's great. And here's a little. We get to talk about, because I'm building, because we've got 7 vehicles. They're all Ghostbuster vehicles. But
God.
one station wagon, one main station. But we're hopefully by this time next year we'll have a motorcycle.
From the animated series?
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make the one from the animated series.
That's gonna be tough.
It's a lot of work. It's just a lot of expensive work. But I can take a gas tank off my motorcycle and paint the Ghostbusters logo on it.
And people are like, oh my God. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, the team is excited about it, and so am I. Do
you guys get a motorcycle license?
I'm a motorcyclist. So
Even better. Let's go.
I'm 16. I've had a motorcycle license.
There we go. All right. So let's go ahead to the pictures.
Okay.
Do we got Johnny Botch is the voice actor, or the Black Power Ranger dude, Asian dude here? You and your Star Trek that you're interviewing?
No. So that's that. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. And that is Garrett Wong from Star Trek Voyager.
Okay.
Great guy. Hasn't done a lot since Voyager, obviously, because once you get on the series, you're stuck on the series, and
pretty much,
you're working is hard unless you're intelligent while you're on the series. But Star Trek, once you sign up to Star Trek, you can't work. You have to stay and all you can do is Star Trek.
And
so when you come out of it, the world has passed you by. But Garrett's great. That's Ensign Kim from Star Trek Voyager. That's at Planet Comic-Con here in Kansas City. And fun, great, awesome convention.
That is actually really... It stinks to see that people that go into those big franchises, it's like, are you sure? You're pretty much signing your life away.
In some cases, it's not even just a big franchise. Some people get on a series and then don't do nothing else.
Because they're stuck. They're just straight up stuck.
They're stuck. And I always tell people, if you're on a series and you're in hiatus, do a movie.
Yeah.
And when you know this series getting ready to end, pick up another series almost immediately if you can.
Right, that is true, and it could be something
that's what Katie Cuoco did. Diminishing New Big Bang was and she signed on for a flight attendant.
There we go. And then following up after that, we've got Miles Morales, Spider-Man, with the Joker, and
so that's Eddie Warren here in Springfield. He's also the head of the Ghostbusters Ozark. Miles Morales, for me, is one of my all-time favorite characters. Not just because of how great his movie was, but cosplaying as Miles Morales means A, I get to wear shorts under that skin tight jumpsuit.
Yes, you do.
and B, I get to wear gym shoes under that jumpsuit. And C, it has pockets.
Pockets, let's go. And a lot of people pray tell, they're only just now in the dress and actual dresses industry is starting to include pockets.
Pockets, yeah.
If you want people to buy your stuff, include pockets. Not one like a little penny pocket. No, pockets.
Yeah, I love Miles Morales. Can't wait for the next movie. I hope they don't age him too much, and I hope they don't change his costume too much. But I do hope that it's an amazing story.
You want to know what I hope of the character that would be included into that one? I hope Silk gets to make an appearance.
Silk is not going to make an appearance.
Oh.
I already know Silk is not going to make an appearance. But it'd be nice. I love for the world to know that story more than anything else. Right.
And then following up after this one, we've got you as Nick Fury on the motorcycle. Oh my God, let's go.
That was a photo shoot here in town, organized. That gentleman's motorcycle is one of my favorite. And what's funny is I've yet to get my Captain America in town on that motorcycle.
Dude.
I've tried continuously. Thor's been on it.
Shocking.
Thor's been on it, but not Captain America.
But and see, this is why war style motorcycles. You stroll through town, people know you mean business. Don't mess with me. So I bring a story when I roll in.
Right. And what's interesting about that also is the gun is not just a gun. It's a night-night gun from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I 3D printed.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
I love it. It's a beautiful gun.
And then on top of that with the Black Panther Deadpool, that's a really nice Deadpool and Black Panther cosplay. Both of them look like they've been, besides the morph suit, but literally, what happened to get Deadpool, this?
My Deadpool, I love him to death. He's crazy as all get out. That photo was done in the dead of August in a building that had no air conditioning. And I didn't know what he was doing behind me. I just knew that I was being Black Panther.
He was petting the kitty. Essentially. I think just looking at your expression.
They had to talk me into it, but once I realized I was messing with Deadpool, it makes sense.
As long as it's Deadpool, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then we see Catwoman with Miles Morales at your Children's Miracle Network Hospital.
So, that group is called Ultimate Cosplay League, and we go to Children's Hospital once a month.
Yeah.
We all dress up. We've got a Thor that goes, a Batman. I can do Miles Morales or Nick Fury or Black Panther. We try to go with the really, really, really popular ones that everybody will recognize.
Yeah.
But my favorite story ever And you'll see later in the pictures that there's a Thor. We have a great Thor in our team. He's an amazing Thor. So I go as Miles Morales, to me the most least recognizable Spider-Man. And he goes as Thor, and we're there all day. We're the only two there. We're there. We do the children's thing. We do the teen ward.
Yeah.
We even go to the teen ICU ward. Nobody recognizes who he is.
That's sad.
Some little girl asked him, "Are you a professional wrestler?"
No. Well, for you though.
And then the last little girl, because she was so excited to see me as Miles, so we did like 3 or 4 pictures, and she goes, "Well, the surfer dude can get in here." So whenever I see Chris, I call him the surfer dude. Oh. And he is an amazing Thor. By far one of the best Thors I've ever seen.
Get the surfer dude in here. Oh my god, that's funny.
Surfer dude.
And then you got Men in Black.
Dude with a cape.
And then you got Men in Black here.
Men in Black. So that was at Men in Black International. And the least complicated cosplay I've ever done.
Honestly, yeah.
What you don't see is I have 3 printed the tiny cricket and the demoralizer. I do have each one of those.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't see the cricket.
They're not in there. I didn't want to show up the people in the picture, but I do have them.
Nice. And then going on, we've got just a vast variety of secret agents, Wolverine, Black Widow, Black Panther, and Spider-Gwen.
So that's us at a movie. Okay, so that here's my nerd showing. We get asked to do a lot of movie premieres. Sometimes we don't care. If you invite us, we're coming. Even if we don't know what movie it is or how bad the movie is. So when you get invited to do X-Men's Dark Phoenix, you just go and you dress up and you have a good time.
Yeah.
And then you sit through a movie and walk out almost halfway through.
The only time I think I've walked out on a movie was due to a time crunch, and it was the Belle movie that recently came out to theaters in English, which is a fantastic animated Beauty and the Beast version. At the time when it came out, it was the 30th anniversary of Beauty and the Beast in Japan. They made sure. I was like, this is giving me a lot of Beauty and the Beast type of like virtual reality vibes right now. And I had never did research or anything. I went in blind. I was like, this is Beauty and the Beast. This is Beauty and the Beast. This is Beauty and the Beast. Yep.
Beauty and the Beast.
Just modern times.
Yeah.
So, and then we've got more of the Black Panther up close, and I didn't even know that had like more of the filter stuff right here to kind of keep your eyes. Yep. But I see your eyes. I see the little dilate.
I'm going to retire Black Panther at some point, but not anytime soon.
It's going to be one of those, you get every little detail of the full on. Now, are you going to go with the Wakanda version where before he became king, or are you going to go with the primal version when it's like the historical?
It's going to always be the king.
Okay.
Always be the king.
Oh, and I see the rip and tears just starting to happen slowly. I just noticed right here at the glove to the leg.
The gloves have always been like that, and I've left them that way on purpose.
Oh. Battle damage.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
There's no way you have claws that retract without those gloves ripping a lot.
True. And then the graffiti, is that real graffiti? And if so, amazing.
That's added in.
Okay.
But it's literally the graffiti from the movie.
Yes.
So, but that is me actually at a photo shoot as Miles, and it was a great photographer named Chris. We had a lot of fun that day.
Awesome. Awesome. And then going on, more Black Panther love. Kids pile drive the Black Panther.
Love my Black Panther. I do a lot of birthday parties with him. We get in training events. We get asked for him.
Very nice. And then we got the Nick Fury, a different eye patch. I noticed actually. It isn't the big old hunker.
So that's a leather eye patch like what he has in the
movie.
in the movie. The exact one is hard to come by, but I think I love that particular one because it's shaped.
Yes. No, honestly, the shaped ones are so much better. I've got one. I don't know if I still have it, but it was steampunk. Gears all, and it was very comfortably sat right here. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then your wrestling times. Boy, you're wearing the pants and boots, and you got this guy in a neck hold.
So, here's the 3 funny things about that. A, that was my actual uniform for when I was in the military. B, that person is my stepson.
Oh.
And C, that was his first match ever.
Oh, he gonna get his butt whooped. This was some pent-up aggression. You did my duck. I'm gonna whoop your butt.
So, real quick, funny story. He was so nervous that when we locked up first, he hit me so hard that he gave me a concussion.
Oh!
And I had blurred vision for the rest of the match.
You still got him in this position.
The picture you're looking at, well, the reason he's in that position is I couldn't see. So I can hold him still and say, hey, we got to slow down until I figure out what's wrong with my eyes. What I should have actually done is have him rake my eyes, and the whole would have made a lot more sense.
There we go. And then you got your Captain Falcon version of the outfit slowly coming out.
I have been waiting for that costume to get released.
And then
I've had that costume ready to debut for a year.
I believe it. And then
I knew they were debuting it on the series. So the series came out, I still hadn't debuted it. I'm literally waiting. Finally, they debuted it on the last episode, and I literally wore it out the very next day.
There we go. And then we've got a Harley Quinn behind a Superman outfit here. What's up with this one here?
So that's actually Superman from Earth 2.
All right.
And it's, oh my god, I can't pronounce his name now. It's, oh my god, it's going to drive me crazy. I can't pronounce his name.
Google it.
But the cosplayer behind me named Harley Quinn, she's an amazing cosplayer. That's her favorite Harley Quinn. She actually has 4 Harley Quinns.
Oof.
But that's one of her favorite Harley Quinns. And that was a wonderful, wonderful, great photo shoot. Why am they not?
I have not in my life seen the
Val Zod. Val Zod is his name.
Val Zod. I have never seen the Mafia puppet dude in my life until just now with the Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay. So that's from the actual animated series.
Yes. I don't remember what he's called though. Is the thing.
And so what you're looking at is a reinventation of Arkham Batman's Harley.
Okay.
That's a costume that I designed. We had a lot of fun. You'll see that the next picture you have is the actual sirens, all of the costumes that I made and invented.
All right.
Of what they would be like now.
So then we got the Catwoman with the goggles, with the whip, following up with Harley Quinn with the Catwoman with Poison Ivy, with the hammer, with that batarangs all behind it, with the circus act behind where that is the tragic accident of the first Robin's parents that actually got killed.
Yeah.
And he became Nightwing. As to the following, it wasn't Dick, it was the next Robin, who then became Red Hood. And then the third Robin was not his actual son. It was actually a female Robin, which I don't recall exactly. I think she quit because it was...
Her name I don't remember.
Her
name is Oner.
She didn't get killed. It was the fact that she quit. It was just too dangerous.
She quit.
Nope. None of this.
And Batman's crazy.
Yeah. No, he absolutely is. There's some actual...
insane, especially once he got a kid under his wing, he really became crazy.
Yes, he did. And then the one kid that outdid all Robins was the fourth Robin. I think there was like a fifth one, but that one also ended up dying, which was then his actual biological son,
Damian.
Which was Damian Wayne.
He's crazier than Batman.
He straight up, as the, Ra's al Ghul's actual daughter, that, you know, the one night stand happened with Bruce and her, but she was also crazy, which then brought in Batwoman, which Batgirl was still a thing. She became paralyzed due to the Joker. And then you had Nightwing, Red Hood. Red Hood came back at the time because of Ra's al Ghul with the Robin actually being brought back. He went nuts in the head. He wanted to get actually...
Well, they were all nuts in the head. They're all nuts in the head.
The only one who's not really nuts in the head until he got in bed with Harley was the first Robin, and it was like, the things I do for Gotham. I'm like, really? Did you just say that?
Hold on. If you watch Titans, he's nuts too.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go, I don't associate that.
No, I'm talking about the Titans TV show.
Yes. Oh, he is...
He's nuts.
Yes.
He's crazy. But then again, he was raised by Batman. He's been crazy for a while.
Yeah. And the thing that he gets at the end of the day is Starfire. And alone, she kind of leaves him, comes back, leaves him, come back, doesn't really know how Earth customs are. And Starfire is a whole nother thing.
Particular Starfire just for the record.
Yep. Oh, man.
She's least favorite.
And then you've got Black Mask.
I love that costume.
And then we got Wakanda Forever with the princesses.
I got invited to a special needs graduation. Graduation. And I just happened to know those princesses, so that is actually us doing a event for a special needs high school graduation here in town. That's pretty dope, actually. We just thought we were going to show up and take pictures. We were a part of their their dance. So we were out there dancing and having a good time. Which, I'm sorry, not graduation, that was their prom. It was a lot of fun. It's really weird. I've been invited to go to that stuff, and then there's part of me that's like this. What? Why? So they took pictures all night. We danced with them all night. Everything they asked us to do, we did. Pretty cool. And every chance we got. Honestly, that's pretty dope. But to me, it's also like, why would a school be okay, I see why, but it's like, that's really weird. Okay. They served all the kids' food. They asked us to help. We served food. We just had a great... The thing that I do, when we get invited to do stuff, especially when we're invited to do, like when they ask for Black Panther. Yeah. I do them in character. If I had been Miles Morales, then I'd have been an annoying, pain in the butt teenager. Miles is great, but still, he's a kid, so yeah. Yeah. And you'll see, when we did our last charity event at we went to an ice cream place, I drove the people crazy. Because I wouldn't serve no ice cream. I was taking selfies with the customers, making everybody else do my work for me. Oh, boy. I literally told the manager I don't do windows. The minute I took the mask off, though, I mopped the floors, cleaned the tables, all of it. Yeah. But to me, the best part about cosplaying sometimes, especially events like that, is getting into character and being that character. Right. And then going on to here, we have the Stick. We have Jeffrey Combs. You in armor. Jeffrey Combs is such a nerd. He knew that I was Morgan from The Walking Dead before I walked up. I gotta love it, honestly. And it's been a while, but I know who you are talking about. Yeah, he knew I was Morgan from The Walking Dead. And then we spent 20 minutes talking about Star Trek from start to finish. He's been involved with Star Trek for so long that he's spanned 3 series. But he's done voiceover work for them. He's done voiceover work for the game. He is a huge Star Trek fan. Everybody asks, even the greatest debate. So you Star Wars, you Star Trek. Actually, since I wasn't raised on Star Trek and I was raised more on Star Wars and the community around me was more Star Wars, I really wish I had more time to be exposed to Star Trek. I missed out on that time. I know there's always time to actually make time for that, such as anime. Straight up. But no, it's just... I wish I was... Yeah, no. It was kind of... I don't have a love for either. I have a love for all
And I'm the same. It's just at the time.
I love Star Trek as much as I love Star Wars, as much as I love Dune, as much as I
Star
love
Galactic Enterprise.
Right. Yeah, all of it.
All of it.
I'm looking forward to the next Galaxy Quest when it comes out next year.
Woo! And then going on, Nick Fury.
Yep.
And then you got your Spider-Man. Aww. Historical month.
Is that the picture that I was being attacked by them kids?
No. It's Spider Morale, and you have the historical black.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I love that picture. That was the same. That was that photo shoot with Chris. It's a lot of fun.
That's good. And then could you tell the audience more about like the historical figures? I assume they're more related to the actual area.
So this is from my community here in Springfield, Missouri. It's called Founders Park. And the lady that I'm looking at, the only reason why I picked that picture, because even though that picture is there, the people that put that picture there didn't know nothing about that lady. It is the only black person on that wall. And they put her there to that lady's supposed to represent all of the black people that have ever have suffered in this area.
And honestly, no, that's not doing it justice as at all.
Yeah. That picture, as much as it breaks my heart to see it, it breaks my heart to see it for other reasons too.
With the actual historical fact, in St. Louis, Missouri, there are more black historical people than there are of white, and it's terrifying. Yep. And there's some other ethnic people of all different races that there's so many historical people, because guess what? They worked their ass off. Sorry for my language, people, but there were more minorities than white people that were more historically working their asses off harder than there were of the white majority. There was just more white majority people because out of that.
And we're only 4 hours south of there. And you got that one lady. And I love that. Like I said, I love that picture. And as much as I despise the history of this area and of this country.
Most of it's lied about. Yeah.
I still love history, so seeing that picture made me feel good.
And it's only recently, like, I know I try to make it family oriented, but as what I will tell people, get all your information from all sources, not one, as a whole. And I've learned that from even, say, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Uncle Iroh teaching Zuko as do not get your source from one, because if you do, it will divide all nations, where then if you look as a whole, you will understand everybody. And that's why I think during COVID, it was the time of where I was immature still at my age, in my older 20s. I'm 30 now, but in that time, as I've had friends like Ori-san from, New York, that he's traveling right now, the Mexican minority, the Puerto Rican, Latino, the Black African, we're going to go into, Zimbabwe, we're going to be going to, Hindus, Indians, we're going to be going to natives, even the people before the Native Americans here. No, there are people before them here. And I'm still going to be doing the right type of research, as you also had the pagan, Wiccan, Vikings that were also here, but there were other things even before them. There's guys, in history, history will be lost. You really won't know what's here.
Exactly.
The thing that was here before everybody was a chunk of soil. Straight up. But no, there's so much that on our history has been lied upon, because as a great quote, the victor of the war is the one who writes the history.
Exactly.
So please do the research. Go to all, if there are books being banned, read those. Find out why. In all of our schools. And it's just, they just made a whole new list of books that are now banned from local libraries, public libraries.
I saw that recently, and I was so disgusted I just bypassed it, because
hey, guess what I have in my library at home?
Right, what the hell? Come on.
It's
not be in that level.
It's the fact
of be at that level now, where we're regressing back to that.
Yeah, and it's sad. Even though they're trying to...
It's beyond sad. It's ridiculous.
It's, but now that with technology exposing a lot of things now in these days, where people have more source of, as a community now, it's sad, but when you're in a small little village versus a town to a city to broad stand, superplex, whatever, the more that, like, things are available to knowledge, a lot of people are becoming very angered with what they've been lied to. But then again, you're still at fault for not doing the research yourself, and you're just being given the information. And then plain emotions and, sorry for saying it, but stupidity are being played off of, where then they can actually control the mass population. Being the government and stuff. They're going to be able to...
You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct.
It's just, it's sad, but let's go ahead, keep continuing on the actual...
Yep, that's wonderful.
And then, G.I. Joe?
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, buddy!
That's Stalker. And actually, I'm getting ready to redo Stalker, because his latest action figure came out.
Ooh.
So I'm going to be redoing Stalker here in the very near future. To a costume that I actually going to like a little bit better.
Hits core at military service of it?
No, that was probably Planet Comic-Con where I was at.
Okay. No, I'm saying, like, does your military side, like, kind of, like, get all giddy? Like, ooh.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, God. especially when I go to a con and see and get recognized as Stalker.
Honestly...
That's the greatest thing ever.
With even, and this is the one thing with old shows that got reanimated, one I really wish, and I really wish they did finish it, was not only the reanimated G.I. Joe show, but also He-Man, when he got first time reanimated. They finished it, it's good, but the new one, I understand the whole backlash of the She-Ra, they really screwed that up. I understand why they were doing it. But at the same time, you don't mess with He-Man. But now, with the third season, hopefully in the production, I'm like, oh, they're bringing Thordak back. Oh my God, let's go. But at the same time, too, with the She-Ra animated, they show that this isn't the original She-Ra. There's been multiple She-Ras. And at the same time, I'm like, this is cool to see. But, like, there's some things they kind of messed up on. I understand what they're going based off of. But then another series... Bless their hearts for doing it, but I've even talked to Larry Kenney about the actual reanimated series of Thundercats. Not the new one that looks like Teen Titans Go. I'm talking about the really cool one when Lionel's not, like, aged past, like, how the 80s, where he's still a kid of mine, has to grow up. That actually showed, like, more realism to what Thundercats at that time would have been, and they said that it failed because they were relying on more of sales to keep it going, and then when they brought it back for another season where it's going on, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good, why didn't it finish? Oh!
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
And there's some... Larry Kenney actually said that this is going to flop.
Well...
I was like, no.
People don't have faith in things that if they don't do it, then they don't always have faith in it.
Right, but he did voice Lionel's father in the reanimated version as the actual king. Yeah, I've talked to him. I even know about the Silverhawks series before... Thundercats and all the actual... And he did most voices for all male characters, and it's like, oh my God. And then he was a talk show host. Like, I actually did my research on this guy, and then we got flashed. At PeoriaCon, he's going to be coming back for both days, and the guy who played Flash Gordon is going to be there on Sunday.
Nice.
And then this is next month. I'm just like, oh God, I got it.
Awesome. Sounds like a great con.
It is. It's small, but it's growing. And it's going to be at the Expo Gardens in Peoria, Illinois. So it's like, ooh.
That's really cool.
And then we're getting into the Green Lantern stuff. As you can see, you probably know what I'm wearing.
Of course. Of course.
Out of all lanterns, and I liked it when they did the new 51 version of the Green Lanterns where Hal Jordan actually... grills out the facial hair. He's like, come on, Necron, let's go. You know, like all this stuff. And then found out the Black Lantern Corps leader, his powers were starting to turn people into stone.
Yes.
And I was just like, dude, let's go. And nobody knows.
Right.
It's sad. Like, I will not be able to understand this, but in a way of trying to understand, as much like in the cosplay community, it's sad when I go to a C2E2 and people are wearing Green Lantern shirts and didn't even know what a Black Lantern was, and even though it was an OC, I had an actual Black Lantern that I made, and they still didn't know what that was. I was like, are you kidding me?
So, Blackest Day wasn't... There are a lot of crossover series that DC does that don't always make it.
Yeah.
Now, they've had some great ones. Galactic Storm was one of my favorites. Brightest Day one of my favorites. Introduced me to Dr. Light. You know, they've had some great crossover series. They've also had some fails.
Yeah.
They've had some fails. A lot of the Green Lantern crossover stuff fails.
There's
not anybody's fault. It just happens.
There's one I wish they continued, and it was with Space Ghost. They had a crossover with it, and I was like, oh, this could go so far, but it's just a one-shot. And I was like, really? Out of all people that could have been such a good crossover that would have brought back that fandom was that one comic, and then most people are like, I didn't even know this was out. And I'm like, yeah, apparently that's the case for most things, but yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just miss. Sometimes you just miss.
Like, even right now, they actually continued it past its 4th issue, 6th issue. It was the Ruby series crossover with the DC comic universe.
Right.
And I'm just like, wow, this is good. I like this. And it was the same person who did the artwork for that. Also did, not Zombie Tramp, but another type of, like, adult stuff that I found out later that came out, which I've got issues of. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It is not PG.
Right.
But the guy who did the same artwork for that, and this is very recently within, the past year's time, like even right here, I've got the Ruby Justice League series right here, and then we get into, where is it? Oh, this bothers me when I can't find stuff immediately. I'm like, no! Let's see, even one of my roommates, he found out he had a duplicate, and he's getting all the Wolverine stuff, and then we found out this one up in price, which was the Ultimate X-Men issue #1.
Nice.
And then at the same time, it is Sweet Paprika, who did the same artwork and stuff for the Ruby Justice League crossover, and as well of they're bringing the old Elvira, but there's a new series of the Elvira stuff that's out right now too. Right. And the funniest thing I gotta say to this day with the Elvira series stuff, I wasn't really into people's business, but I found out within the past year she came out lesbian. I was like, wait, Elvira's what?
Yeah.
I was like. Yeah. No, there's much stuff out there that can say otherwise.
Right. Well, yeah.
But at the same time, getting into your Ultimate Muscle cosplay here, that is your actual wrestler outfit.
The ninja?
The ninja with orange mask with the yin yang with red white.
That's his name is Rinchi.
Okay.
And that was honestly that was just strictly and solely to give me another body in the ring in case of an emergency.
Okay.
Plus, I have a lot of martial arts background, so it was really easy to pull off.
My martial arts background is literally, if I get you in a hold, you ain't getting out. Like, straight up, it's like, nope, it's a do or die. You get out, you get out. If you don't, you don't, and you get passed out. And then to your Captain America, or Captain Falcon.
Yes.
This is the one that we were waiting to get to here with Black Widow release, and man, I still need to watch her movie. Scarlett Johansson.
That's the Black Widow release, and there was a bunch of us there. And what's funny is it felt like it had been 2 years since we'd seen everybody because of COVID.
Yeah.
So, and I could not wait to debut that costume. I was so happy to share the experience with all of those people. And have such a great time.
Absolutely. And even doing it in respect, as I told people during the pandemic of 2020, I'm so glad I got on DoorDash. Otherwise, I don't even know how I would have survived.
Yeah, there were some days there were some very questionable days.
I got $20 or $20, but I
questionable days during that time period.
It would have been one of those that I'm gonna have to start selling my stuff. Straight up. And got another picture of you with arms up, arms down. Honestly, with the kid, the little girl looks more thrilled than the kid holding the shield. That's sad. It's like, come on, boy.
Yeah. Well, we had a good time.
And then we get into Star Wars with who's the photographer here? I see Wayward Images, Robert Advocate.
Robert Atkinson, great photographer here in town. And if I'm not mistaken, that's my Mace Windu.
Yes, I was gonna say Windu.
Yeah.
I still love how Samuel L. Jackson, historical fact, he wanted a purple lightsaber because he wanted a purple lightsaber. I was like, let's go!
I said I will not fault him for that. Will not be mad at him for that. I was.
He retconned Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because there was no purple.
Happy.
When an actor said to George Lucas at an actual making of this movie, nope, I want a purple lightsaber. I don't have anything for that.
A purple one? Come on. Come on.
And then we get into the Empire cosplay.
That's Lando Calrissian. I could not wait to do that.
So it actually educated me on the Empire because I don't know anything.
This is the owner and the mayor of Cloud City. You see him again in Return of the Jedi, and then you see him again.
Oh, you mean like Empire, like Star Wars Empire?
Empire Strikes Back. That's Lando Calrissian.
Okay, when you said Empire, I was like, there's a show called The Empire? I'm like... I'm genuine, like, when I'm curious and I'm wondering, it's like...
You are really not a Star Trek fan, are you? A Star Wars fan, are you?
I know of stuff, I've watched the movies. I have slowly started actually listening to YouTubers that are going into the Star Wars history. So I'm learning about all different things with comic book characters. They're going into comic history, Godzilla, for gosh sakes. I'm even learning more about that, but it's just at the times of, when do I have time to do this when I'm always on the go? I don't really have time to sit down and watch stuff, but now as of lately, it's like, okay, if I'm making time for, I'm on episode 77 of Critical One's Campaign 1, you know how many hours that is right there alone?
Right.
I will make the time to listen to the people who put the effort in. I'll even go into the Xenomorph. We'll go into Alien vs. Predators. We're going to go into all the different variants of that. Even then, the government that was fighting the aliens, the actual symbiote aliens, all that stuff, they made the king alien, which was to hunt down other aliens, had actually died against the first encounter with the queen of the aliens, which it would not attack humans, and then we find out later that there was a human hybrid of the aliens where she could control. They were trying to actually kill all the aliens. She was not having any of that, and said, you know what, kill them, I don't care.
Right.
So, like, I will go, and then it's so fun to actually, I was talking to my mom about the Justice League live-action movie, Batman vs. Superman, and my mom's like, oh, man, Doomsday, like, you know, I'm like, Mom, no, that is not Doomsday. That he shouldn't even be on Earth. None of that should even be existent, first off, and I showed her pictures, and I said, here's the actual full history, and I'm telling her, like, how this kid was the father. We're going to send this kid out into the wild. It dies. We're going to regenerate. Send it back out. Keep adapting. Overtime. And just eventually that kid was like, nope, I am done. I don't care. He's pure rage, destruction, kills his entire race, the planet, and so on. It's just, hey, I'm on an asteroid and I come to the planet and everybody's like, oh, Lex Luthor was the reason of bringing that. Kind of true, kind of not, but...
Right.
Yeah. There's certain things I actually do know and I pride on.
It's okay. It's perfectly okay.
Now, if we get into the Kingdom Hearts lore, part 2. And then we're getting into, I forget his name, but he's the one that betrayed the Order to, no, he betrayed the Jedi side to the Order. Then he betrayed the Order to the actual Jedi Rebellion, the rebellion and yada yada. Everybody's like, you suck, you don't suck, oh my god, I know, but the actor doesn't stink, and everybody gives him so much crap. I'm like, oh my god, guys. Mandalorian much
Mandalorian.
So yes, no, this was at Dragon's IMAX.
Yeah.
And that is
So it's this was at Branson's IMAX. That was for, I believe that's actually kind of an older picture. I believe that was for.
You look younger.
The third of the prequels.
Prequels, third? As in movies 4 through 5. We talking about movies 1 through 3.
1, 2, 3. Well, 4. Well, technically, chronological order. In chronological order, 1, 2, 3. No, that's right. That's right. No, actually, I'm sorry.
Don't forget Clone Wars.
That was the very first movie back.
Okay.
Before Rise of the Skywalker, before everything. The first, not before Rogue One.
Rogue One was good. Rogue One
was so good to be back at a Star Wars movie.
Honestly, at this point, I'm just the jack of trade of like just knowing a little bit of everything at this point when it comes to the nerd community. I'm just like, I know what you're talking about. If you say a phaser blaster, I'm a run. Now, if a stormtrooper's shooting, I'm not running. I'm going charging.
Right. It was good to be back. It was good. The movie wasn't. I wasn't prepared for any of what I got at all. But
he gets the most heat for a lot of stuff, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's fun to see this. And I was like, this is definitely in your old days. Definitely old days.
It really wasn't that long ago, but it was good to. I mean, we've had close to 30 years of Star Wars.
And then Star Trek, historical fact, is older than Star Wars.
Yes, it is. By a while.
And it's always like, if I had to sit down and watch a series with everything, play everything, read everything, being that it's anime, I'm going to go with One Piece or Case Closed, but most likely it's going to be One Piece.
Right.
If I go with one of the two of these, or Godzilla,
right?
Because then I can do all the crossovers, because then I got to know about, everything that's coming out with that.
Right.
I'd have to probably lean towards... more in the way of Star Wars, because there's so much more to that, an exploration of what's out there. Star Trek has there's one episode I specifically remember from Star Trek, and somehow I watched it multiple times. It came on at random times. It was the episode where it was the planet, if that you aged, you died from a random illness, then, with it being kids are still surviving, it wasn't affecting the grown-ups that came from the Starfleet, the Star Trek fleet itself, and it's just like, why do I remember this? Why do I remember this? And why was it I was able to see this episode twice out of all the hundreds of episodes?
Yeah.
It's just neat.
That happens.
And then here's me, who's watched pretty much all of Supernatural while I was working at Buffalo Wild Wings in the morning. There's no sound, there's no subtitles, and I watched more than probably half of the entire series of Supernatural on the TV while cleaning the toilets, all that, without any vocal or subtitles, and I know what's going on.
I've watched up until I finished the series. I think I skipped the second to the last season, just skipped it completely because I thought it was going to be stupid, and I was right. But I was a huge fan of the show until they went off the rails and jumped the shark like every season.
Dude, they were bringing in Ultimate Satan. They were bringing in the gods. They were bringing in a lot of scary, really? It was funny though when Dean killed Medusa.
When it went off the rails is when they lost me.
It was funny though how they killed Medusa. Dean, keep it up. And then when they said that, I don't care if it's spoilers for that, but, when they said the boys were, offsprings to Satan and angels, I'm like, really? Okay, let's give them supernatural powers. I got it. Yeah. And then we get into your Green Lantern with sunglasses.
Yeah. I love my Green Lantern.
And then we've got Black Spider-Man. With Venom.
So that's a variation of it. It's not a great costume, to be honest with you.
Gotcha.
But who doesn't love
Venom? Venom is Venom. And then we got you pulling the Black Panther mask, coming off with a smile.
Right.
But yeah, no, honestly, it's always interesting to see people that I'm interviewing now on here. From how many years, decades, like it's kind of interesting to hear the people that also do the 20, I've been doing this for 20 years, but when you hear the 30 years, it's like, okay, we got a history book here.
So I've only been doing it about 20 years, but I've been a nerd for a lot longer.
A lot longer.
A lot longer, and proud nerd.
Yeah.
Proud nerd.
And it's like the generation that we're at right now with where I came from. It's going to be one of those things like, yo, when I have a kid and they see, like, adopted or not, it's going to be like, yeah, I have all this resource. You have more resources than what we'd ever grown up with. That you would have been going to a bootleg store. You would have gone to like AMV videos or something where you would bought anything anime and nerd off the shelf because it was $2.99 to like $5.99 for anime of Dragon Ball Z. That's already been like English dub. And it would always be Broly related too. It's like.
You're not wrong.
I will not say that. Those were probably some of the best years when you would go in and you would find the most random stuff. And it's just like, I don't know what this is, but I gotta buy it now. One good series that made a reboot of the manga is Orphan Sorcerer.
Right.
And I'm just like, ooh. Even the video game for the PS2 being its own thing, dude, it was still good. The anime was good. Like, overall, Orphan is one of those, like, I don't know how many people know of it, but it's a really good series. But yeah, going into, like, social media stuff, what can people find you as online? Charity stuff.
So, for cosplay stuff, I'm on Instagram, and you'll find all of my pictures there. You can reach out for me to do events. We love, especially if I can bring a group of people, because we love it.
Yeah.
But as far as my podcast, Fanatics and the Fan, everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we talk nerd. We do the same thing you do.
Yeah.
Love to have you on. Talk nerd, you're perfect. We can talk about we can talk about your show and other nerd things. So
I wouldn't mind that.
I'll definitely be reaching out to you about that.
I'll give you a friend request after this too, so that way it's easier. Perfect. Because if I don't have people on here as a friend, apparently trying to find them in the messenger is so much. It's like a needle in a haystack unless you give me the link. It's like, hey guys, I need the specific sprinkle from this cake from 30 years ago.
No, feel free to reach out. I'd love to do another show with you.
All right.
But as far as cosplay, God, I love it.
It helps us be different.
The only time I really don't truly completely love cosplay is when I'm at a con. Con cosplay is different than doing a charity event. It's different than doing a public appearance.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's actually harder for me to get into character when I'm doing a convention. A lot of times I'm just standing there taking pictures, and that's the only reason why I'm cosplaying.
As some people would, and I will say this straight out, there'll be people that will say, well, those are clout chasers. I'm like, okay, and?
But you know, they're called influencers now, and it's acceptable, so back off.
I'm like, here, you want a cookie? Here you go.
Right.
Or here, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, chocolate. I will go to conventions now, not trying to really cosplay anything. Nobody knows. You'll see me more. The hat I've only recently added, but I actually did like myself, hand painted all of that.
Right.
And I'll be at conventions now more or less with this. I'll have my skeleton staff. I'll have a skeleton mask, but I can tell you right now, I'm going to get hot under all that.
So The only thing that I've gotten really, really hot in lately,
Captain
like
Falcon.
I've got Nick Fury in the wintertime because it has the jacket, and most convention centers are cold.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Nick Fury doesn't always buy, but Captain America Falcon is hot.
Be glad that your top is actually not covered because I feel like it'd be so much worse.
I debuted that in the middle of July.
Yikes.
So we did July, August, and September, and we had events to do. Like literally July was a picnic. So it wasn't even an inside event, it was a picnic outside.
I don't doubt it, honestly, with everything how weird our weather was. We had a very pleasant 2020 summer.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, dolphins coming back to the canals of Italy.
But we also were all inside for all of 2022. So.
Honestly, I feel like why the weather is like how it is how it was when it was 25 years ago. Like it should have been like now. This wasn't like, oh, spring weather. No, this was, yeah, it's so cold outside right now. Oh my God, get me back inside. Or you're in layers on layers on layers, but now like getting older, it's like, give me 2 sweatshirts, I'm good.
Right, exactly.
But all right, we'll have social links in the description below, everybody. Thank you for all tuning in, and it was honestly a real pleasure to have you on here. I don't just say that for
I couldn't have asked for a better time to talk about a wonderful thing, cosplaying. I think everybody should take a moment in cosplay, especially if you get a chance to get in a character and be the character and do the things. Then it's a release. It's about being who you want to be. All my Batman friends, when they put on their Batman costume, they are Batman.
There we go.
Just a little less crazy.
But yeah, other than that, we'll make sure that you mean detrimental PTSD, mommy daddy issues? Yes.
Yeah.
Alright guys, we'll see y'all later. I hope you stay tuned. Oh, not that. I hope we all stay tuned in to the future actual live streams as well. Reach out to me, reach out to him. I'll make sure that the links to the podcast for him and all of his social medias are in the description below. And if anything else, if you guys have like suggestions in the future, I'm open to actually hear people out. I'm not going to file it away like and never talk to you again type thing. I'm actually genuinely trying to stay on top of everybody. I make lists. Alright, other than that, peace out, Girl Scouts. We'll see y'all later.